You know what's funny? We live in a world obsessed with success. Every time you open your phone, you're bombarded with stories of people who made it. A 19-year-old who became a millionaire. A YouTuber who blew up overnight. An entrepreneur who went from zero to everything in a year. But tell me, where are all the others? Where are the millions who tried, failed, and vanished into silence? You don't hear their names. You don't see their faces. And because of that, you start believing that success is normal, that it's inevitable, that if you just want it enough, it'll happen. But the truth is much darker. For every one person who succeeds, there are thousands who don't. And the media doesn't talk about them, because failure doesn't sell. And so, we all become victims of what psychologists call survivorship bias. We see only the winners, and forget the battlefield full of fallen soldiers. Media is partly to blame for this illusion. They celebrate the outliers, the Elon Musks, the Oprahs, the Zuckerbergs, people who overcame impossible odds. But they never show the thousands who followed the same path, did everything right, and failed miserably. And so, we're tricked into believing that success is just about effort. That if you hustle, you'll win. That discipline alone guarantees reward. But it doesn't. There's effort, yes. There's discipline, yes. But there's also timing, opportunity, privilege, luck, connections, 1,000 invisible factors that no motivational quote will ever tell you. Behind every success story, there are a million invisible failures buried in silence. That's why, if you want to stay grounded, visit the graveyard, metaphorically. Because that's where the dreams that never made it are buried. The businesses that failed. The books that were never finished. The creators who gave up before they were noticed. Don't just study success. Study failure. Because failure teaches you the truth that success hides. Now, let's talk about another. Illusion, the illusion of the crowd. We humans are wired to follow others. If everyone is doing something, it must be right. If a product has millions of buyers, it must be good. If a video has millions of views, it must be worth watching. This instinct comes from our ancestors. Back then, following the group meant survival. If 10 people ran away from danger, and you stayed behind, you'd die. So your brain evolved to trust the crowd. But in today's world, that same instinct often leads us astray. Now the crowd doesn't run from danger, they run toward hype, toward trends, toward noise. And if you're not careful, you'll end up chasing illusions, buying things you don't need, believing lies, following paths that aren't yours, just because everyone else is doing it. So before you follow the crowd, pause. Ask yourself, do I believe this because it's true, or because it's popular? Learn to fact-check life for yourself. Because in the end, truth is rarely where the crowd stands. Ever stayed in a bad relationship just because you've already invested too much time? Or stayed in a job that drains you because you've been there for years? Or finished a boring movie just because you paid for the ticket? That's the sunk cost fallacy. It's when your past investments control your future decisions. We all fall into it. We keep holding on because we don't want to feel like our efforts were wasted. But the truth is, time already spent is gone. What matters is not what you've invested, but what's still worth investing in. So before you keep pushing something forward, ask. Would I start this again today if I hadn't already begun it? If the answer is no, walk away. Sometimes quitting isn't failure. Sometimes it's the most rational form of progress. We live in the age of options. We have endless choices for everything, career paths, relationships, phones, even toothpaste. But here's the twist, the more choices we have, the less happy we become. This is called the paradox of choice. With too many options, we start to overthink, doubt, and regret. Imagine scrolling through Netflix for an hour, searching for the perfect movie, and ending up watching nothing. That's what happens in life, too. We delay decisions because we're afraid of choosing wrong. To fix that, define your values first. Know what really matters to you before looking at options. When your values are clear, decisions become easier. And when you finally make a decision, judge yourself by the process, not the result. Because a good decision can still lead to a bad outcome. And that's okay. What matters is that you made it consciously, not emotionally. When things go right, we take the credit. When things go wrong, we blame someone else. That's the self-serving bias. You see it in companies all the time. When profits rise, the CEO says it's because of his great leadership. When profits fall, he blames the economy. But we all do this. Students blame the teacher. Employees blame their boss. Partners blame each other. It's human nature, we want to protect our ego. But growth only begins when you own your mistakes. Ask your friends or mentors for honest feedback. Don't argue. Listen. Reflect. Because sometimes your biggest flaws are the ones you can't see. Humility is not weakness, it's awareness. And awareness is the foundation of mastery. Let's face it, we hate waiting. We live in a world addicted to action. When something goes wrong, we want to fix it immediately. We act fast, because doing something feels better than doing nothing. But not every problem needs immediate action. Sometimes, waiting is the smartest move. If you're new to a job and face a complex issue, don't rush to prove yourself by acting too soon. Observe. Learn. Seek advice. Because premature action can do more harm than good. Patience is power. Stillness is strength. Not every battle is won by speed, some are won by silence and observation. So, what do all these biases have in common? They're invisible traps, mental shortcuts created by evolution and experience. They helped our ancestors survive, but in the modern world, they often mislead us. You can't remove them completely. But once you're aware of them, they lose their control over you. Awareness is your shield. It turns unconscious reactions into conscious choices. So before you make your next decision, pause. Ask yourself, is this logic, or bias? Am I thinking clearly, or just reacting? That moment of awareness can change everything. It's the thin line between progress and regret. We may never fully understand what creates success, because it's different for everyone. But we do know what destroys it. And avoiding those traps is half the battle. So here's a challenge for you. Take a notebook. Write down everything that holds people back: fear, ego, overthinking, excuses, laziness, comparison, impatience. Then make a promise to yourself: avoid those things every day. Because sometimes, success isn't about adding more to your life. It's about removing what doesn't belong there. In the end, the wisest people aren't the ones who know all the answers, but the ones who know which questions to stop asking. And maybe, just maybe, true wisdom begins the moment you stop chasing success and start understanding yourself.